Hi, Sandy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Welcome to the A.D.K Rock and Metal channel. Today we're doing Breaking Down and Pulling Apart series where we take a song, we break it down, we pull it apart into 1 minute blocks. We go away, we make our own notes, review it separately, and then we come back together, play you 1 minute at a time for you at home, and then give you our thoughts on it. Today's band is a band called Madball. And the song is Pride Times Are a Changin' from 1996. Now, this band has been together since 1988. And I didn't realize they were formed from previous members of Agnostic Front, which I didn't really know anything about at the time. So interesting. New York hardcore, they're officially classed as. And I remember a couple of weeks ago, we did a video and we were talking about, you guys were going on about how you'd come across a band on one of those VHS tapes which had them. This was my one for Madball. So they were on a music video tape with Living Colour was on it. With Type. It was Type was the song was on it. We had Life of Agony was on it with Through and Through. And there was a few other bands on there, and there was interviews with people from like Headbangers Ball. It might have been a Headbangers Ball VHS or something like that. And this was one of the music videos they played on it. So that was my kind of how I came across that. Because at the time I was not into Madball at all. I don't remember when Dog Eat Dog's No Fronts came out. Was that in the mid-90s? I can't remember, Andy.
Yeah, because this song's 1996, so it probably was.
At the same sort of time, I think.
Yeah,
but that would be, I would have associated, when Madball came out, I was listening to that album of Dog Eat Dog and probably Biohazard's Punishment.
Yeah.
And Black and White, that sort of era. So I think that would have been around the same sort of time.
Album. Yeah, I think that was sort of 96, 97, yeah.
So I'm thinking that's where I was and What Makes Us Tick and that sort of freaking blinding tracks from there. So this was my kind of introduction to Madball. So anyway, yeah, let's play you for you at home. It's only a minute. It's only 2.5 minute song. So we're only going to have to give you 2 pauses today. So we're going to give you the first minute and then we'll talk about it afterwards. This is the first minute of Madball's Pride Times Are Changin'. Okay, so it's a simple, basic, chorded punk riffs. They're hooky, they're catchy. What surprises me about this one was just the barking delivery of the vocals. It's not really singing, is it? It's like, times are changing for the worst, blah, blah, blah. This is the main difference between why I never probably went back to Madball versus going into Biohazard. Biohazard did the same sort of thing, but there was more aggression. There was more venomous intent from their vocal delivery, and there was a bit more tonality. This just felt like some guy who's been doing karaoke coming in, has no idea how to sing the song, and just kind of goes, "Times are changing for the worst," blah, at the karaoke thing, and it's like, come on, really, mate? Is that the best you really can do? But I do like it, but it's funny going back now what we think of as hardcore. Because there was someone talking about, I saw a meme where I think it was a Madball goes, "We're hardcore," and then there's like Slaughter to Prevail underneath going, "Really? You're hardcore? You're real hardcore?" And Knocked Loose going, "Come on, really? You can talk about the brutality or something like Knocked Loose," and then Madball, and like, it's chalk and cheese at this point. But at the time, this would have been classed as quite hard stuff. But yeah, going back to it, there's a lot of nostalgia for me. But it's when you take it into context with what music is today, of what we expect like hardcore to be. This is very, very soft. Andy, thoughts?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Comparing Madball to Slaughter to Prevail is, and who's the other one we've done? Lorna Shore. That is golf. But these are the pioneers, aren't they? These are the founding fathers of US hardcore. You mentioned bands like Biohazard and Life of Agony, which bands I've really got into at the time. But this is my first experience of Madball, and it all goes back to this band name business.
Yeah,
Biohazard, Life of Agony. Yeah, they sound tough. They sound hard. They've got attitude. But Madball sounds almost comedic. Maybe that's
mad comics.
Yeah, maybe that's why I stayed away from it, because it didn't have that same punchiness of those other band name. That I've mentioned.
It doesn't mean anything either. Mad and ball, they're just two words slammed together. They don't actually.
That's very true. Very true. Yeah.
You can't think about Biohazard. You visually can see the sign already. Even if you didn't know the band, you knew what it meant. You knew it was dangerous. Madball, you're like, is it a bulldog? Is it Mad Comics? Is it?
Yeah.
Is it a game of ball? Is it a cartoon game? I don't know what it is. What does it mean?
Again, power of the band name. But I really, really like this, and I am going to try and I want to get into this band, because this is typical US hardcore, and I really, really enjoyed that first simple riff, and then the riff over the sort of the vocals is really, really good. The video is again what you'd expect from that type of band. It's got the graffiti, it's got the attitude, the posturing, the lowrider cars. There's about 50 of them posing for a photograph at one point. It's all the same with bands like Biohazard. It's all about camaraderie and friendship and looking out for your mates and that kind of thing. And that's the sort of like the US hardcore attitude. They'll defend their honor, and they'll fight when they have to, but they'll look after the ones they love and are close to. And that's sort of the attitude that comes across with this band and many others from the scene, I'd imagine.
Kirk?
Times are changing for the worst. Got to keep a positive outlook. Love the message. Yeah, fraternity. It's a male fraternity, isn't it? When you look at the video, there's not a woman in sight here. New York's answer to suicidal tendencies, I guess you could say, with Madball. Machine Head were always name dropping Madball, weren't they? They're one of those bands that had so much respect and integrity, because all these great contemporary bands of the time would name drop them. I mean, yeah, you're right. Look at the martial posturing of the band, the way they carry themselves in the hood. Musically, though, these riffs could just be from that 1990 Anthrax album, Persistence of Time. I think with this music, like we have here with Madchester and all the cliches you associate with like how people speak and carry themselves, New York hardcore is so easy to lampoon, isn't it? And because of Biohazard and Madball and bands like that. And that can put people off, including myself at the time. Now, I don't mind it. I can go back and listen to those records, and as long as I don't take them too seriously. But you should actually listen. That message really encapsulates hardcore. It's about a community, a fraternity. And as we'll see in the second part, I'm going to quote another lyric later on. It is trying to be positive and not get drowned in a sea of negativity. And that's something that deserves respect.
Okay, well, let's play you the next, or the last, from minute 1 to minute 2:34 for you at home.
Times have changed so much since then. All grown up, I gotta do for myself. Refuse to depend on anyone else. Life's hard, struggle sometimes. In the end, I'll get what's mine. But for now, I deal with the time. Have some faith, and I'll get by. Thinking back when I was a kid. Times have changed so much since then.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a really odd one. I mean, as I said, I've already mentioned it. It's the way that the vocals delivered. It's almost spoken word. I found it really funny looking at the part of the black and white video, and he's wearing a shell suit. I don't know if anyone clocked that one, but because he's wearing like his white vest at one point, and he's doing all his bits of the camera. Then there's another cutscene, and he's wearing a full shell suit. So he's got the jacket, shell suit, and the bottoms. I'm like, no wonder you're in black and white. Because I wonder what color that shell suit is. Because this is not hardcore. You're in a shell suit, mate. That's how you date it to the 80s. It's a basic structure, but do you know what the thing was it obviously they had agnostic front members in there, and there's that issue that you have where you had, especially in the 80s, the white power metal bands or the white power bands, that the skinhead bands and stuff like that. And this is where this music reminds me of that time, because this was the sort of music that a lot of the hate music that came out at the time. Now, I'm not saying that this band isn't a hate band. Madball do not associate with that, but again, Agnostic Front had the same problem with that. They got because of their visuals, their look, they got thrown in with like the neo-Nazi groups and stuff of America that were a big thing of the time with this style of music. And that was the problem with hardcore, is hardcore and punk got taken over because of the simplistic nature. It was easy to write hate speeches over that sort of music. Now, Madball is not that, but it does. As soon as I heard it, I'm like, this is the vibe I get from that genre, and it kind of taints it in a way for me. That sort of that those sort of bands were taken over by that sort of hate speech at the time. But Andy,
again, we've got a typical element of US hardcore. We've got the gang vocals, which reminds me of another New York hardcore band, Judge. I don't know if anybody's heard of them.
Yeah.
Again, that they promote the message of, you mentioned the word fraternity, Kirk, respect for others, friendship, all that kind of stuff. Positive messages all the way through. And the vocals there are kind of sort of double tracked as well, which just gives it a little bit more emphasis. But I was sort of disappointed it ended so quickly. You know, I thought, you know, I really, really like this track. It's got me intrigued enough to go and check out more Madball, but they could have quite easily repeated, repeat one of the verses and stuck another chorus in just to make it, another minute or so longer. But it's 34, too short, but a very good example of New York US hardcore from the time. It's got all the elements you want musically, and with the attitude from the video as well.
Yeah, let me just take issue with that. I don't think hardcore was taken over by these fringe neo-Nazi movements. For a start, look at this band. There's Puerto Ricans and
I know it's a taken over. I said it's associated. There's a lot of, when people talk about the white power bands, it was the style of music that they adopted. It was punk and hardcore. And so there's a lot of association. The problem was if you were a skinhead in a band that was a hardcore band, people would automatically start associating you with white power bands at the time, especially in there, because people would it's like people would go, oh, you're into heavy metal, you're a Satanist. And you're like, well, I'm not, I just listen to this music. So you got stereotyped, and there was a lot of people that if you were a long hair guy, you weren't stereotyped as being a fascist, but you were, if you were a skinhead metalcore hardcore band like Agnostic Front, you were like, you must be neo-Nazis, because these were the looks of the bands that were going. And if you didn't know any better, that's what I would say.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, because the message here is, I refuse to be dependent on anyone else. So that's almost libertarian, isn't it? It's, Cro-Mags are the kings of this. You listen to Harvey, and I love that message that he's preaching. And Hatebreed, we always say, Jamie Jester, they're playing Slayer riffs, and they've got really positive messages like, go make something of your life. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Only you can help yourself. Be self-reliant. But I pick it on this, Dave. How primitive are the vocal lines? I mean, at least you can follow the shouted lyrics, and then that whole chorus, and it's just a gang chant, isn't it? I mean, we were talking earlier about another song. If this took longer than an hour to write, I'd be surprised.
It's true.
You can almost see Freddie and Christian listening out for the snare. Yeah, listening out for the snare to keep in time, almost like, when you listen to the early hip-hop songs, Grandmaster Flash and stuff like that. They're like, don't stop me, cause I'm close to the edge. It's like so primitive, isn't it? It's amusing.
Yeah, very true, very true. I just love the riff. Even the riff, it's the riff on this song is simple, but it's also sloppy. It's like, da na 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 and it's just simple strumming. It's like something from the 60s
So how can you
rock and
fuck
roll
that up?
bands. It's fun. It's an enjoyable track, but yeah, it's not the most complex, well written. So I'm fairly certain if I picked up the guitar now, I could probably go and play it for you in about 5 minutes without doing a hell of a lot. I'm sure me and Andy could knock that sound. We could record the song in it while we do the video. We won't do that though.
Kirk on
Anyway,
vocals.
Yeah.
Kirk on vocals. You can do it. Yeah. There we go. Madball Pride times are changed. If you enjoyed the video today, please do like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.